UFOs have been witnessed and experienced by the human race since the beginning of recorded history, and most likely prior to that time as well. From the days of the Samaritans through the biblical era and on to the present time, UFOs seem to be a covert part of our culture. Many sightings and descriptions of UFOs were recorded prior to the invention of the camera, so a written record is all we have to go by for those periods in history. Civilizations all over the world have made reference to sightings in many of their ancient texts, or by the passing down of stories and legends from generation to generation. Many accounts can be recalled, but we will focus on just a few that stand out in history more than others, meanwhile establishing a pattern of descriptions regarding the characteristics of these craft, leaving you the assumption that many of them might be extraterrestrial in origin. What seems to be a constant in the description of UFOs throughout history are the styles and the way they move. The sightings of strange objects in the sky may actually predate the emergence of modern man. Perhaps the earliest depiction of cylindrical objects resembling spacecraft with what might be their extraterrestrial occupants are those carved on a granite mountain and on rocks on an island in Hunan Province, China. They have been assigned a tentative age of 47,000 years, which puts them within the time span of the Neanderthal man predating modern Homo sapiens. One of the first written accounts of a UFO sighting, a fleet of flying saucers perhaps, is written in an excerpt from an Egyptian papyrus, part of the Annals of Thutmose III, who reigned around 1504 to 1450 BC. The description written on the papyrus described two incidences of UFO encounters. The first was a cigar-shaped craft, and the second, which occurred a few days later, was recorded as rings of fire which moved about the sky. Prophet Ezekiel's vision, recorded in the Bible, is thought by some to be a UFO sighting. His description is of a strange vehicle coming from the sky and landing near the Chabar River in Chaldea in the 5th year of the Judean captivity, 592 BC, under Nebuchadnezzar II of Babylon. The Roman author Julius Obsequens, believed to have lived in the 4th century AD, drew on Levi as well as other sources of his time to compile his book Protegorium Libor, which describes many peculiar phenomena, some of which could be interpreted as a UFO sighting. Here are just a few examples.
216 BC, things-like ships were seen in the sky. A round shield was seen in the sky at Capua. The sky was all on fire, and one saw figures like ships. 99 BC, and it came suddenly from the sky towards the sunset. A round object like a globe, a round or circular shield took its path in the sky from west to east. 90 BC, in the territory of Spoletium, a globe of fire of golden color fell to the earth gyrating. It then seemed to increase in size, rose from the earth and ascended into the sky where it obscured the disk of the sun with its brilliance. It revolved towards the eastern quadrant of the sky.
A rare typeset book from 1493, now preserved in a museum at Verdun, France, contains what may be the earliest pictorial representation of a UFO in Europe. Hartmann Scheidel, author of the book Liber Chronicarium, describes a strange fiery sphere seen in 1034, soaring through the sky in a straight course from south to east, and then veering towards the setting sun. The illustration accompanying the account shows a cigar-shaped form hallowed by flames sailing through a blue sky over green rolling countryside. A term equivalent to our flying saucer was actually used by the Japanese approximately 700 years before it came into the use in the West. Ancient documents describe an unusual, shining object seen in the night of October 27, 1180, as a flying earthenware vessel. After a while, the object, which had been headed northeast from a mountain in Kii province, changed its direction and vanished below the horizon in what looked to be a hole in the sky, leaving a luminous trail. Early history is loaded with pictograms and documents giving credibility to UFO phenomena. Those were just a few. Now that we have established that UFOs or similarly described objects of possible extraterrestrial origin have been witnessed and experienced throughout history, let's talk about the possible impact they have had on the human race.